And for that, we have Mike Dattilo. He's the Director of Marketing Operations at Lexmark. And he has been doing leveraging performance video on Amazon and being very successful with that. He leads the marketing operations organization at Lexmark. He's been doing it for almost 2 decades. So this guy knows what he's talking about. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Sorry, I'm calling you Mark.
Hey there, can you hear me?
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Where are you at?
I am at Pinehurst, beautiful Pinehurst, in the ballroom down here.
Yeah, I figure I'm like, that looks like a hotel or something. It doesn't look, I don't think it's your living room.
Not my living room.
Well, I want you to get right to it. So enjoy, and I will be back.
Sure, absolutely. All right, you all should be able to see my screen now. Can you confirm?
Looks good.
All right. So as mentioned, my name is Mike Dattilo, Director of Marketing Operations at Lexmark, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a pilot we were part of that Amazon included us in for their video in search. Before I get started here, I did want to talk just a little bit about Lexmark as a company. Most people probably are not familiar with us. Just to give you some context of where we were approaching this from. Most people may know us as a printer manufacturer company, which is true, but we go beyond that. We help our customers minimize their costs and IT burdens by providing them the secure, reliable, and productive print imaging environments, really with these 3 pillars of extending their investment. We do that by improving their ROI of the hardware they invest in, making that hardware last a long time in the design of that hardware, and protecting that with a secure environment that they can work within. Simplifying the management. As you can imagine, lots of different printers across multiple locations are hard for IT resource to manage. So our single global platform in NPS help us manage an always-on print system. Moving that into a cloud infrastructure helps reduce the infrastructure overhead. And then always a focus on security with those devices and how they're managed. And then lastly, enabling productivity. And so again, we don't force customers to migrate from the systems that they're already working on. We are integrating with their existing core systems. We have industry expertise and solutions that fit the different industry environments that people work within, as print needs are very different based off of those industries. And ultimately, we just work to empower our users. And overall, we have a couple of different major segments of users, enterprise users, and then kind of small businesses, mainly differentiated from an assisted sale and an unassisted sale. And so today, I'm going to be talking to you more about our unassisted sale customer base and the opportunities that we have in advertising to them. So before I get into the video in search, I did want to review what our Amazon advertising looked like prior to the pilot that we participated, just to give you all some context, and worked with our ad agency, Labellium, and putting together what has been a very successful mix for us using the Amazon display advertising in combination with their sponsored product and sponsored brand advertising products. So on the left, you'll see for the display advertising, our KPIs, really in both cases, are return on ad spend. But given that display is more of an awareness tactic, you'll notice that's a considerably lower conversion than what we will see on more of the conversion tactics. So how do we use the display advertising? Really 3 different ways. Awareness using the audience segments. So in here, we're really focused on audiences that are not actively shopping our aisle, but at least have shown some interest in printing in the past. Consideration, so these are people who may be in the purchase process, and here we're looking at people who have actively shopped in the printer and small business aisle. And then also retargeting, which, as we all know, may be changing a bit with cookies in the future, but currently retargeting the people who have looked at our products but did not purchase those. And you'll see there in the left some of the default creatives that Amazon provides and how we've leveraged those. Here on the right side for sponsored product and sponsored brand ads, you'll see in 2020 and 2021, this kind of uplift in return on ad spend Some of that is in the technology environment that we're in right now. There's a very large inventory shortage of electrical components. And so the printer industry in general has a lot more demand than we have supply. And so you'll see that inflation a bit come down as some of the inventory allocation gets fixed out. But what we've been using, our strategy and tactics and our sponsored product and sponsored brand advertisements here. First is really competitive targeting. So looking at who our competitors are, what products that they have that compete directly against ours, and doing some bidding so that we show up as people are researching those products as well. Manual campaigns targeting kind of office printer type keywords. So lots of different keywords in that space. Obviously, since we're targeting businesses, we want to make sure it's an office or business-based type keywords. And then here we even segment some of our ads down into the model number that's specific to the products that we're searching to. And then also we target both branded and non-branded key terms. So obviously something like Lexmark printers would be a branded term used more in protection. And then something more like office laser printer is more of a conversion term, non-branded term that we're looking to support a new purchase with. And then you'll see again some of the sponsored brand and sponsored product samples down below. Okay, so Amazon has had what they call Amazon video ads for a while, and this is kind of how they market that. Amazon video ads allow advertisers to reach Amazon customers with targeted video on Amazon's websites, mobile apps, and Fire tablet wake screens. And we can convey our brand message with autoplay video for an engaging ad experience. And I would say, we found that to be pretty true. Is the standard Amazon video ads works well. And you'll see here different placement options. You have within the homepage in different environments, desktop, smartphone, and tablet, to the product detail pages and that Fire tablet as was mentioned before. And then, some specifics of the videos as far as the codecs and such that they would need to be available to work in this environment. So I just wanted to point out, before the Amazon search in video or video in search, Amazon had video ads as well. And we had actually seen pretty good performance on those video ads. So our Amazon rep approached us on a pilot that we could consider participating in. And a little bit overview of what that Amazon video in search is. This is really the power of the Amazon video ads that we just talked about. But now in the search results targeted by keywords and Amazon marketing segments. And so on the left, you'll see kind of a picture of what this looks like, either on a mobile phone or on a desktop device. As you're scrolling through search results, as the advertiser, you can choose specific keywords that you want to show within, or even just specific marketing segments of users that you want to target to. And then as the user is scrolling, your video will actually start to autoplay within those search results. And then you'll have a conversion over to your product detail page. And so on the left, if you were to click that ad, it's going to take you to the right to your product detail page such that you can educate and convert your user. And so for us, we didn't have a ton of video on these printers. And so we wanted to really discuss the opportunity and make sure to understand, what types of videos we were looking for and how we would be able to place these. So we were very specific on the audience that we wanted to target. As I mentioned before, small and medium business users or office environments, not home users, because during the pandemic, actually, home printing increased a lot from a device purchase, but there's a small number of pages there compared to the businesses. So we wanted to make sure to place these with businesses. We also wanted to market to people who were searching in the laser printer, color printer, and all-in-one solution category. And then also, as kind of a defensive strategy, we wanted to show these video ads to people searching for Lexmark printers. Given that this was a pilot, there was some unique opportunities for us here. So There was less competition. There wasn't a whole lot of people using the video in search placements at the time, which meant our conversion rates were very high and our costs were pretty low. And we'll show you that here in just a minute. We wanted to increase the brand awareness of Lexmark printers. So this was a space where Lexmark is very known in the enterprise space. We do a lot of large business activity and industry-specific activity in large business accounts. But it's actually been a space from a small business that we haven't sold devices in for quite some time. So we wanted to increase our brand awareness with these target users. Reach a new audience searching in the printer aisle. So again, kind of goes with increasing our brand awareness. People who are searching in this printer aisle, being able to educate a bit more on the devices and why we think our devices are a good fit for them. And then also a unique ability to really educate customers on the products and benefits and features. So with video, you can tell a little bit of a story that you can't necessarily do, just with a still image that's normally in your sponsored product or sponsored brand or even display advertising. So for us, we didn't have, as I mentioned before, a lot of video on hand specific for these products. And so what we ended up doing is if you look at one of our product detail pages, like most everyone, you have some images and you maybe have a product demonstration video that is on your Amazon product detail page. And so we started with that video. Our videos here are normally more like 45 seconds, maybe, even a little bit over a minute long. We knew that was too long to be able to show in an advertising format. And so we really just kind of cut those down to meet the advertising standards. And I think 15 seconds is really what Amazon recommended to us to try to get that to for optimal conversion. And again, it's going to be auto playing, as the user scrolling through search results. So if you don't get your point across quick, they're just going to keep scrolling and not really engage with your video content. So on the left, you'll see kind of taking the same video, cutting it down, and this is a mobile a screenshot here, but you'll see that this is the video that would automatically play as people are going through search results with this device. And then here on the right, you'll see we actually did a couple of different variants of videos here based off of the product demonstration video, just to kind of see the portions that would be more impactful for the users. So you don't have to do a whole lot of work to get started on this is kind of the point here. We didn't go out and shoot new video. We really just took what we had and kind of made it work. All right, so let's talk about results. So we started this in the fourth quarter of last year. And our key metric, as you saw before, is return on ad spend. And this was a great success. So in fourth quarter, 7.6 return on ad spend. Our goal is just above a 3. And so this is kind of knocking it out of the park for us. And you'll see in more detail some of the other conversion metrics. Click-through rates, 1.3%, which again for us is awesome. Our average click-through rates on our non-video campaigns in search were 0.22. So just off the charts as far as the click-through with the video. And then the cost per click, again, this was pilot stage. This is going to go up. You can see here in the first quarter that it's gone up some, but much more efficient for us than the non-video campaigns at the time. So 65 cents for the fourth quarter versus $1.55 for the non-video campaigns. So in the first quarter, we saw these results. We were all really happy with this and said, hey, let's go and do this more. So we increased our spend about threefold, expecting actually we would have quite a bit of decline, but still we were well above what our goals were. So we were comfortable with that, but actually pleasantly surprised. So you can see the return on ad spend did come down somewhat from that 7.6 to a 6.5, but still, again, very respectable from what our goal was. And we were very happy with that results. You see the click-through rate actually increased from the fourth quarter over to the first quarter. So we were up to 1.4%, which again, if you look at comparison on our non-video ads, during that same time, our non-video ads had actually decreased from that 0.22 over now to a 1.5. So these video ads were doing very good for us in converting. And then this cost per click, again, you start to see now that the cost is going up a little bit more because it's less of a pilot, more people are participating in the market there. And then overall, for our keywords, actually, the cost per click on the non-video campaigns is starting to decrease because of that inventory situation that I mentioned before. So let me just summarize here and talk about a little bit of the next steps, and we'll take any questions after that that you all may have. So the video placement pilot for us was certainly worth our time and expenses. And as I mentioned before, the goals that we had in place, we returned over twice the required profitability for this placement. So the results kind of speak for themselves. They were really great. And I'm hoping that continues on as the platform remains and more people start to use it. Although, as we all know, that'll start to decrease some. But again, just kind of as a caveat, because Amazon is still rolling this out, the bids were relatively low and the conversions were very high compared to our non-video ads. So the bids obviously will go up more. What we saw though is those conversion numbers actually stay high and in some cases increased from what we saw in the pilot. So I think definitely video from a search perspective, I think did a really great job helping us explain our video, especially in case where, there's a lot bigger brands than we are out there. So we get a chance to kind of tell our story before someone decides. And then again, as we already mentioned this, but as we scale our ad spend, we saw some of our core metrics, particularly the return there, decreasing. This is kind of any tactic will do this, and we expect that to be the case. But it remained very high. So this is not, we're now in an unacceptable range. As we mentioned, we're twice over what our goal is. And so we'll just have to find that right level of profitability as we scale this over time. And then lastly, we want to start to optimize the actual content. So we've played a little bit with sections of the existing videos, but we really haven't made any new video content and started to test the conversion tactics here. And that's kind of one of our next steps now, is to see what the content in the actual videos, is there things that we can do there that will be more engaging, and just do some testing there to see kind of what is our optimal message for those videos to meet our goals. All right, and with that, I think if we have time, I know we're running a little late here, but we'll open up for questions if there is time.
We have, let's see here. Oh, my screen went weird, but anyway, I'll ask the question. We have from Kofi, what recommendations for how to make effective short 15-second videos?
Yeah. So again, it depends in your context that you're using here, but in the context we were using, this is a user scrolling in a search result. And so if you spend your first 5 seconds with some, amazing shot and you don't have any value prop at all, the user scrolled past that and, they're going through. So you really have to lead out with something that is going to be interesting, that someone's going to kind of want to stay just a little bit longer and kind of see what the rest of that ad is. So the other thing I would caution against is the initial instinct is we got 15 value props and we got to spend a second on each of them. Don't do that. You got to trim those down to, maybe what are your top 5 or what are your top 3, and make sure to get those across in the time that you have. So that would be my advice.
Great. And we actually have a question from Steve Smith.
Hey, Mike, thanks for that. That was really, really great detail there. Have you either thought of or tried taking the same creative and using it on other platforms?
Yeah, we are actually now starting to use some of that video content in advertising, in our other display advertising tactics as an example. I don't have results for that to share, but definitely once we saw the results from what we were getting on the Amazon search, it's starting to look for other opportunities to do similar. And the same thing as we produce new video content, we'll certainly be optimizing that. We expect that maybe even by channel will be slightly different because there's some different use cases. Some of them are more of a display. So, the Amazon is search, we would consider more of a conversion tactic. Somebody is searching for a printer versus some of the display advertisements will be more brand awareness type thing. So we may have a little bit of different content there, but yeah, absolutely. We're already leveraging some of those and have plans to do further testing and extend that out.
Were there specific places? Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're using like video embedded in display, and so programmatic, programmatic buying across display. So you weren't targeting any specific video channels. Yeah.
Yes. So some of the plans that we do have. So as an example, YouTube is a place of having some of those intro short videos before you watch videos and whatnot. If you can get your segmentation right and you're targeting the right users, that can be effective. Other than some of those channels, it has been more of just general display advertising. We have a display technology provider that helps us do that. Yeah, nothing more specific.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mike. That was great.
That's great. Really good. Thank you. Go enjoy.
Thanks. Yeah, enjoy Pinehurst. Tell us what it's like. We're all back here in virtual land.
That's right. We'll see you next time, right?